All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are live. We're about to be live on Instagram whenever that wants to go, but it's going to go. Come on, work with me. There we go. We are live now on Instagram as well. Welcome back to another episode of Sunny Days at the Racetrack. How we doing, brother?
Doing good, doing good.
Doing good. Yeah, I mean, we could all be doing better. I'm sure after these last two
Two
games.
games. Yeah, they're pretty brutal.
Yeah. So we were at the home opener, and
Yeah, definitely electric crowd.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
packed house. I don't know if they sold out, but it was definitely a packed house.
Yeah.
And the energy was great. I was feeling good. I was excited. I know everybody else was excited. I mean, why
Yeah.
can't you be excited? I mean, it's the fucking
Back in the
start of the
seats,
season.
first
You know
game
what I mean?
opener.
It's
100%.
amazing feeling. I've been itching for hockey to come back since since
Yeah.
then. But yeah, so let's talk about it. I mean, going into that first game,
I mean, you're feeling good. Preseason looked pretty good too,
preseason looked great.
especially with Varley in that. Varley stood his ground, and at least during the preseason he did. And then, yeah, I mean, even the first, I think the first period up 1-0, if I'm not mistaken. And they would answer every time they answered, we answered back, and it was good. But just some blown lines. I know Dobson struggled a little bit on 2 of the breakaways and the line changes, and it kind of ended up in our net. It hurt. And then same thing with the Dallas was another rough one. So
Yeah,
definitely, it's weird going from scoring 4 goals one game and then game blanked out 2 days later.
yeah, and
So,
especially with the Utah game. Going back to that, I mean, Utah had a game already against Chicago. They kind of got their full, regular season legs under them.
yeah.
Preseason is one thing, but they got a full.
They had a whole game. They had a game
go-round.
ahead of us on it too.
Yeah, so it for them. They were coming in definitely probably more sharp.
Yeah, they look good.
Yeah, I mean they beat the Rangers too the other night.
Mhm.
So they're now 3-0 to start the season. They're
Mhm.
like we've been talking about. I've been saying it too when they were still Arizona. That they're going to be dangerous as
They got a
years
lot of
go
young
on.
talent on there.
Yeah.
So,
But yeah, I mean with the game against Utah, it seemed like a lot of the same problems we had last season
a
were
lot of
coming
like
up again.
mismatches on the lines and
Yeah.
just not covering the guy, leaving guys open. And we had so much opportunity too. We had at least like 4 or 5 power plays.
Yeah.
So we answered on one of them. I think the first one we answered on.
Yeah.
And I think they had a power play. We got a shorty with JPG.
Yeah, we did, which
But
was I thought put the game to bed, but it did not. So
I know there was only about, I want to say there's maybe like 3 minutes left, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah,
And then they answered back like 14 seconds later.
yeah,
I know you can't put it all on Dobson. It is what it is. I'm just putting out an example of that though. But yeah, it's just weird, man. Like I said, we put up 4 goals against Utah and they're looking good, and then just get blanked out in Dallas. It's just I don't know. It's definitely tough, and I don't put it on really Varley.
no,
Really
you can't,
don't.
you can't.
So
Yeah,
a lot to work on. When's our next game? Tuesday.
I believe so.
Tuesday, right?
Sure. I don't know,
But
sure.
yeah, I mean, definitely a lot needs to be.
Next game is tomorrow.
Tomorrow,
against
all right, yeah,
Colorado, which is going to be.
It's another tough one, man. I mean, it's like I said, it's early in the season. You don't want to fall back, and we're already 0-1-1, so we have 1 point out of possibly 4. Definitely hurts. You want to at least have 2 or 3 going into it.
Yeah.
I like the lines, especially the Utah game we're at. I agree with them. I think they work. Obviously, offensively, they worked.
Yeah.
It just comes back to staying on your guy and having accountability. Having a little bit of discipline because we're giving up a lot of power plays. And yeah, man, I think it's conditioning too. I mean, like we said, we talked about it. You talked about it a lot. Arizona. I mean, you know hockey a lot more than me, but Arizona is a young team, or Utah, whatever you want to call it. They're a young team. They're going to be all over the puck, and they're going to be feeding for it. And then now they're in a new arena. They have a new city, new home, the whole 9. They definitely have like that rush. Yeah, so it's definitely. I thought that loss would have gave us a little oomph against Dallas. I think Dallas is an easier opponent than Utah. That's just how I think. Especially now overseeing that they're 3-0. They're legit. They put up 5 goals against us. I think they put up 6 against the Rangers or 5 against the Rangers.
Yeah.
So offensively, they're there. So I thought going into that Dallas game, I thought we were gonna, you know what, like we bit the bullet. We got a point out of it. Maybe we could squeeze 2 against Dallas, and it just didn't happen again. And it's definitely a tough one. And now you're bringing up we're playing Colorado tomorrow. It's definitely not an easy opponent. McKinnon's a savage. That defense is no joke. It's not. That's a knockdown defense. They're gonna be physical. So
Yeah, I mean, the game against Utah, our power play wasn't that great, but Duclair did look great, and that's one thing that it was
Who
nice
did?
to see. Duclair. It was
Yeah.
nice to see him meshing well. I know we were talking about it during preseason. It still seemed like ice of the words that it was still the Horvat Barzal show, but he definitely came in and kind of took the reins a little bit that game, which is great. And you want to do that your first game in front of the fans, during the regular season.
Especially with all of like the built-up momentum with him and the anticipation of how he's going to turn out with us.
Yeah, exactly. So you want to come out strong, and it's a lot of not being able to hold the lead. Getting a goal, giving run right back. I don't know what it is. You take the foot off the gas, like you said. You're not keeping, enough discipline in your game to say, okay, I scored, but now I'm not going to be like, oh, game's over. Like, no. You got a long way to go.
And it's the silly mistakes too. It's stuff that it's the turnovers in our own
turnovers,
zones,
and especially with the game against Utah, it was the offense or the offensive zone possession for Utah. That consistent time. Once it breaches over 30 seconds and we're not getting the puck, then
I remember at one point we were watching the first line. It was Barzy and Horvat, and their legs were just shot. I don't know. Yeah, and they were just like pretty much they're in their own zone.
Yeah,
and there's like passing the puck to each other. Like you just tell like you're getting gassed.
Yeah,
and it was a few times throughout that game that these guys are just taking shot after shot, 6 shots in a row. 45 seconds in our zone and just not letting up the gas. I mean, that's a lot. I mean, it doesn't seem like a long time, but that's a lot in less than a minute against, any goaltender, I think. And they're not just like regular, like, wristers, like they're full on slap. So slap shots, they're getting the rebound, they're playing it off the rebound. They were really good. They handled us really well. And like I said, they answered every time we, every time we scored, they answered right back and they're with it. They did not let their foot off the gas on us.
No, they are a full, complete team for sure.
Definitely looking. They're definitely looking good, looking real good.
Yeah. So dropping that definitely sucks. I think because after watching the Dallas game, I think we played better, even though we got blanked. I think we did play better against Dallas than we did against Utah. It could be the nerves of the first game, being at home in front of your fans, the jitters. There's a lot less, I guess, stupid mistakes. But the issue that still comes is the turnovers. Yeah. So we didn't take nearly as many penalties. I think we had 2 penalty kills, and we were successful on both, which is great. We look actually pretty good on the penalty kill. Power play is nothing. I mean, that's the one thing that looked like old last season too. I was like, no shots are going on. I know Wah mentioned against the game of Utah, like you got to take some shots, and we piled on some shots. We were pretty good.
The Dallas one is tough, man, because by the time they even get the Jets going or even the line getting a range, it's already a minute 45 into it. You're working with 15, 20 seconds left, and it's not going to do much. You know what I mean? You're really just getting one shot at it.
Yeah.
So it's going to be addressed. I mean, Wah's going to address him. I'm sure he's conditioned the fuck out of him.
So, he was mentioning that he thought the game was more positive, and if the team continues to play this way, then that we would start winning more games. So now I wrote it in the description of this video when people will go back and watch it afterwards. But, is he being overly optimistic? Is the guy being delusional? Are we just always looking at the glass half empty as fans? Because, they didn't play the worst game. We didn't have an amazing game against Utah. It felt good because we were scoring.
Yeah, I agree with that.
A lot of the mistakes that we had in that first game, we didn't really have against Dallas. But the thing that Dallas did to us was they
capitalized on our turnovers.
They capitalized on the turnovers just like Utah did, but they also shut down our offense completely. I mean,
that's
Barzy was smothered. They knew what they had to do, and they're no pushover team either. I mean, no. A lot of their young guys were hurt. Rope Hintz, Jason Robertson, they're all back. And then you got Marchment too. He's another fucking guy, amazing player. And then you can't forget Hiskinen, and you can't forget the big man in net. Now, Ottinger wasn't crazy tested those first 2 periods, and we poured it on the third period. Third period, we dominated the play. Even though we gave up the empty netter, we were dominating that play. and still had the turnovers, but not nearly as much as the first two periods because we were really keeping it in their zone most of the time. But the turnovers happen everywhere with us, and that's the problem. We're turning it over in our own end, which is the worst. But then we're turning it over in their end, and then you kill your own momentum, and you got play going the other way.
Yeah, well, especially when you turn over in their own end. That's when you see it. You turn over, you put a line change on, and then you don't have that same feeling back because now the outline has to get the work in and get the same groove at that. Whatever. Yeah. I think the first line, Bars. Yeah, like you said, with Bars and Horvat pouring on the shots, it's tough. One guy that does look good in both games, Tsplakov.
Oh yeah,
yeah, he looks good. Really excited to watch him. Yeah. He scored. I think he scored in the first game too, but he looks good, man. I mean, I'm definitely excited to see him. I think I might be more excited to see him than over Duclair. Yeah, he's definitely a worker. I think he's meshing well, at least so far, with Nelson and Palmieri. And what I want to see more out of is our defense. I want to see Dobson step up. Same with Pulak and Pellick. Those guys are at the point where they're pretty much veterans, and then maybe not Dobson's still working in there, but Pulak and Pellick are definitely veterans. They got to lead. They have to take the charge into my end.
Yeah,
and I'm still waiting for Riley. I mean, like I said, there's 80 games left. There's so much left.
Yeah, I mean, somebody.
But, you just want to. I guess you just want to see what can be done. You want to see what what's there. I guess that makes sense. So, yeah, I mean, I'm assuming Varley's going to be in net again. I'm not sure yet.
Well, that was the thing. People were trying to figure out whether or not Sorokin's going to go.
I don't know.
3 games in. I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know how ready he really is. You know what I mean? I'm sure
he's sitting on the bench for both games. So I mean,
he has to be somewhat ready because if something happens to Varley, he has no choice but to be ready. So that'll be interesting to see. But going back to the Dallas game, I was also thinking the words that Wah was saying at the end of the post game. It's also probably, in my mind, a little bit of recency bias. I mean, you just watched your team dominate play. I mean, you look at the stats at the end of the game and he's talking about those things, right? And then you have Hickey talking about it too. Yeah. Talking about we had 6 minutes total of offensive zone possession time, right? And then we had 22 minutes of just being in the offensive zone compared to their 19 minutes or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But take away the third period, right? And those numbers are the other way. The other numbers the other way. So we had a really strong third, but it comes back to the same shit. You got to play a full 60 and you got to cut down on the turnovers. If we played the intensity that we had in that third period, maybe not exactly that level
we had in the first period of the Utah game, we had in the Dallas game.
Yeah.
You
got to keep it consistent the whole game. You can't turn
on the Jets when it's needed. Anybody. I feel like we're always with that game. We're doing the comeback, and that's what sucks, man. I feel like I really wish we just grabbed those 2 points out of Utah with a dub. I feel like it was there. It's just I don't know. I can't even see that they let the brakes off in the Utah game. I'm just stuck on it maybe because I was there and it's a home opener. We put 4 goals on, so lost. But yeah, man, just the fucking turnovers in both games, man.
Yeah.
And then giving them all the zone possession and our own zone for like long periods of time. Varley stood his ground though. He only let up 2 goals. He stood his ground. He looks good, and like you said, Dallas is a really good team. So he did play a better game. I mean, he had great saves in both games.
Yeah.
I don't put the blame on him at all. I feel like he's being left at the dry, especially in that first one. It's only 2 games in, so it's hard to judge off what we have so far. But there's definitely a lot of work that needs to be done.
Yeah, I mean, just fine tuning a lot of stuffs that I know has probably been hammering home all preseason and training camp and even last season towards the end. You know what I mean? So it's you gotta try to kill those bad habits because
Gotcha.
You do play a third period like that and you play that all 60 minutes. Yeah. Do we beat Dallas? Maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, Ottinger was also playing out of his skin. So it's like, it's also kind of hard when you have a guy like that on his A game. Would it be a blank, us being blanked out? Probably not.
Probably not.
We definitely would have scored. So it's like that sense of urgency. Like, everybody loves a comeback story, but we can't keep trying to make it happen every fucking game.
We can't have the same season as last season with all these losses. That was gets you shook.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you leave so much on the board to grab.
Yeah.
And then like I said, the Metro's no joke. The Rangers are really good. Carolina, they lost some key players, but they're still going to be good.
Yeah.
Boston's another good team. I think people are sleeping on Philly. Philly has potential. It's not going to be easy to make the playoffs. It's not going to, and
No.
like I think last year, I think we waited to the second or third or last game of the season to ensure that we were in. Devils are good too, man. I was watching them. They're a very good team. They're no joke.
Yeah.
So we need to step our shit up. And like I said, I guess we're gonna do a West Coast tour. We're starting with Avalanche tomorrow. That's gonna be a real true testament. They're a very, very, very legit team.
No, they're a monster team, and that's also Waz's old team, so I'm sure he has some feelings about that.
Hell yeah, 100%, man.
So,
I mean, it's like when we play Nashville with Trotz.
Yeah.
So
it's going to be interesting. But there's no reason to panic. I know some fans are like fucking freaking out.
Yeah, no, I see the comments on Twitter and I see the comments on Instagram. Like, it's different year, same team. Like, it's not the same team. It's a very different team. Maybe a lot of the players are the same, but totally different lines and totally different play, man.
Yeah, it's going to be a very different play. It's just when it comes to Waz's game, he wants the defense to really be up on the play, which is why we're getting more shots than we normally got under Lambert and even Trotz, right? Getting more shots. But we have to try to find some sort of a middle ground because Trotz's shutdown defensive game that he implemented really prevented a lot of the shit that we're seeing. The turnovers especially. I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean, I don't think it's Wah. I think it's just old habits from Lambert, but we really he's the coach now, and Lambert hasn't been the coach for it'll be almost a year. It'll be a year in February, right?
February, yeah. January, February.
So it's like, we have to be at a point now. The guy has a full training camp. Let's just see how it goes. I mean, there's some shit that you got to beat out of people. Some people just won't. They won't fucking do it, or they'll do it in practice, but they won't do it in the game. That's fucking anything. You know what I mean? So you have to try to get them to that point, and it's going to take time. And he did say, listen, as we play more, we're going to get better. And that's with anything, I'm sure. But, us as fans, we got to try to be a little bit more optimistic. Am I saying that we had a fucking great game against Dallas? No. Do I think we played better when it came to stupid mistakes and old habits?
Forechecking, yeah.
Yeah, I think we played better than we did against Utah. We didn't score and get the result that we wanted. But it was just like the same mistakes of the turnovers. That's the shit that we couldn't kick. We couldn't kick the fucking turnovers. Couldn't kick the turnovers, and we couldn't kick the intensity problem. The intensity wasn't a problem in the first game. We were fucking going balls to the wall.
100%.
So that's the thing. So when you're loosey-goosey, though, against a team like Dallas is going to make you pay. Same thing with Utah. I mean,
Utah
they're offensive powerhouses in their own right. They got some guys that'll fucking undress you, and you're walking around with your pants around your ankles now, and what am I doing? So it's a hard league. You cannot, and I've said this before, you cannot take anybody lightly. You have to play hard, the full 60. And
you're right, bro.
Get the lead early and don't take the foot off the gas. I mean, if you can't get the lead early, it is what it is. Everyone else is trying to do the same thing, but you got to stay in it. You got to stay in it.
You're right.
So,
I mean, what do you like so far? I mean, out of
Romanov.
Yeah,
Romanov I like. Romanov I thought looked good, made probably the least amount of mistakes in the first game.
Yeah.
And then in the second game against Dallas, he was aggressive, putting the body on.
Let me just throw my laptop on a charger. 1 sec.
Sure, no problem.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to have to just look at me now. Look at the side of there you go.
There it is, right here. A little technical difficulty. But, Romano looked good. I think it's one of the guys we talked about last week.
Yeah. I still think he's going to be elite in a very short period of time. Going back to Dobson and Pulock, like you were saying, Dobson is definitely, you can consider him a veteran now. I mean, he's been on the team for 4 years? You can consider him a veteran of the game. So obviously he's not going to be perfect, but the guy he's our guy. You know what I mean? And he knows that, and he has to take charge and be responsible and lead the charge, especially for Romanov too. They're both young guys, but Romanov has been playing 2 years? Is this his third year?
Might be his third year.
Is his third year already? With the team, and it's a big fucking step from being on the second pair to going to the first pair.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And then now you're getting power play time, and now you're getting penalty. Now you're getting both power play and penalty kill time.
Yeah, I mean, you're getting more time on the ice, and that's
Yes.
when the conditioning kicks in.
So, and Dobson is now no longer just getting power play time; he's getting penalty kill time. Like he's got to be well rounded as can be.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely getting the ice time that he needs, and then he needs to take up the responsibility that's going to be expected from him, not only the team but also Wah.
Yeah,
and he needs to step up.
Yeah,
you know, another one is Tisplakov I like, and then the big one is fucking Gautier going down to waivers and getting claimed by Bridgeport. That's a tough one.
Yeah, and now
he just signed a pretty big contract with him. That's a tough pill to swallow.
So, oh, you mean Engvall?
Engvall, I'm sorry, not Gautier. Engvall,
yeah. So, I'm sure he'll be back.
It all I think he scored 2 against our opener.
I think there was a kick in the ass because even when they asked Lou about it, he was just saying that he just got beat out and he wasn't good enough. That's pretty much what it was. It's not that he's a bad player, not that he doesn't have a skill. It's just Saplakov took his job away.
And that shows. I mean, that's a good. I mean, that's a good thing in my eyes because now you're showing that it's not just about like seniority in a team. Like we just, we grab this kid from Russia and he's at the fight. He fought for it and he earned his battle and he's making it and he's looking good.
Yeah. So and he wants to play in the NHL, like he said.
Yeah.
He wants to challenge himself. So a guy like that is dangerous. You want that guy. So, like you said, you're more excited to see him than Duclair. I agree with you. Especially because we don't really see much of Saplakov. We're not watching the KHL. We already kind of know what to expect from Duclair.
No, because all we really get is we get those like elite prospect Twitters or like those quick summary reports on these guys, and you don't see them for a few years. That's kind of like Sorokin. Like we talked about Sorokin for like 5-6 years, and then all of a sudden we got to see him play. Yeah. So that's kind of with him. Like I never really get to see him play, and then he comes in and he looks legit. Duclair's been. I think this is like Duclair's like 10th or 11th season. Like, you kind of know what you're gonna get out of him. So, but this is like new face, new set of skates, and it's his first team in the NHL. So it looks good, man. Definitely, he's like the one I'll be watching a lot this season. And like Romanov's another one though.
Yeah.
So
I just love how aggressive he is. But he's aggressive, but it's controlled.
I was gonna say that it is controlled.
It's controlled. Especially on the penalty kill, he's clearing that crease, and I love it.
He plays the body. He plays the body a lot.
That's a problem we have, is clearing a fucking crease. So him being on the ice, I know that's going to be taken care of. When it comes to everything else, I mean, you're kind of hoping everyone else follows suit when it comes to,
when you see one guy stepping up and taking over, you kind of want, I get what you're saying.
But he's a monster. He's a monster.
He's like I said, I love that he plays the body. There's a lot of checking.
Yeah.
A
lot of our Russians, man, they're fucking good. If you think about it. Some of our guys that we really enjoy watching that have been playing really good, Russians.
Yeah, what other Russians? We have a few. Varlamov, Romanov, Tisplakov, anything that ends with Ov.
Sorokin
is right. Yeah. Hopefully, we'll see if he plays tomorrow. I wouldn't be shocked if they put him in.
Yeah, that's a hard game to come right into. It's definitely not a tune-up game.
With that offense. And that is a tough game.
It's a tune-up game. But you got to hope, too, that, I mean, it's going to happen regardless of who
he's going to have to come in eventually.
He's going to have to come in eventually, and the team is going to be, like, psyched to shit to see him back because he hasn't played in a while. So I know that once they
see him... He didn't play the playoffs.
Yeah.
He only played
the one game.
Yeah. I think it was just one game, and then he got pulled, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
Yeah, that was it.
So and then Varley showed up. Yeah, so it's been a minute. It's been 6 months.
Yeah, so it's going to be a big boost for the team.
Yeah, because he is like a leader. He is part of the face of the team.
Yeah, he's supposed to be. I mean, Varley's up there in age. He could play as long as he wants, but what we've done right now,
we're lucky. We really are lucky. We have Varley. I know we haven't pulled a win out yet, but without him, man, like.
Without him, games would be a lot worse.
Because even if, like, let's say Sorokin doesn't go in tomorrow and they put Varley in, you still have, like, that confidence. Like, you know what? Like, we have a competent goalie in that. We have a competent goalie in that,
That's
he's not going to.
Varley's old team, too. So.
Yeah, you're right, 100%. So, we definitely looked at with that. And I know it makes sense now with the whole Hogberg sign. I know we touched on that last episode. But, I'm excited. I mean, we'll find out tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon who's going to be in net. But I wouldn't be surprised if they give Sorokin the nod.
Yeah. It could be also depending on when he goes in. I don't know how they're gonna address it to the team. You know, if people were expecting him to go later and he goes in earlier, people might be like, fuck, like, are we not playing that well in front of Varley? Like, they're going to throw Sorokin in early. Like, who knows? I don't know what's going on behind the doors. I would love to fucking be in the locker room and hear this shit.
Yeah, definitely. But he'd be in the locker room after that freaking Utah game.
Yeah.
You had some guys step up, man. That's what hurts. Like JPG getting that shorthanded goal. Like, that's a big move, man.
Yeah.
That's a big move. And then just, I don't know. It's definitely a tough one to lose. Duclair scoring, Swakov scoring, like the right guys, the guys that we want to see put in the effort and then have the outcome, right? The guys that we signed, and just to still losing in overtime, it just sucks.
Yeah,
you're switching a 3-on-1. Like,
it sucks.
Yeah, but there's a lot of positive. There's 80 games left.
Yeah, there's a long season. Somebody on Twitter, I don't know if I'm repeating myself, but somebody on Twitter said we could win the next 80 games, and I'm like, yeah, probably not, but technically, we could.
Anything's possible. But
anything's fucking possible. I could grow like 6 inches in height, probably.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a long season, and I do agree with Wad that as we play, the better we'll get, and that's fine. But I also don't. My fear is, you know, how Lambert was. He was always like, "Oh no, I think we played good, or whatever."
He was a pushover. That guy.
He was a pushover, and my fear is, you know, I was hearing Wah speak. And I'm like, all right, like we played a better game overall.
Yeah.
But when we came down to like how you're kind of saying we played a better game, take away the third period, we played a worse game.
I agree. Yeah.
Take away the third period, we played a worse game. That's how good our fucking third period was last game. It was fucking great. We had so many shots on. It went from us being even on shots or actually behind on shots, and we fucking took that big lead shot in the shot department. The zone possession went up. All those things went up, and those are numbers that Wah likes to see. So I'm sure he's looking at it at the end of the game, thinking like, "Oh," but like that wasn't like that without the third period. So you can like the third period, but you can be unhappy with the rest of the periods. You know what I mean? You can be unhappy with the rest of the game.
And like you said, they smother Barzy, and that's a tough one to
smother Barzy. And I don't know what his percentage was. I'm actually going to look it up because I want to know. But they were talking about Horvat not winning a lot of faceoffs, and I didn't notice it at first until they started seeing it. Until they started saying it, I mean. I'm actually going to look it up. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I'm being rude, but this is what happens when we're no longer in person. I'm fucking looking up shit.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just curious what his face-off percentage was because they were saying that he did not do well on the face-off, Horvat. And they said everyone else was doing all right, but not him. Face-off, yeah, he was 23.1% on the face-off dot.
It's tough, man. And that comes with zone possession. That leads right into it.
Yeah, that leads into it. The one thing that he did do is he made himself open in the slot, not once, not twice, but 3 times for some great fucking chances. Ottinger was ready.
I was going to say, yeah.
Ottinger was ready. So I love to see that. The one-timers are great. I love seeing it from the
a lot of our goals, though, those nitty-gritty goals inside the crease, though. We don't get a whole lot of one-timers. Sometimes we do, don't get me wrong.
But now we have a top line that you see them circling with Duclair, that cycle going, especially in the first game. We saw it live. They were able to set up those shots in the slot. You know what I mean? They were able to do that with Horvat for his first goal of Utah's game. And they were trying to do that same shit in Dallas. The fact that it's there and he's able to be in that position and they're able to get that pass through is great. It's great. I'll take it all day. You're telling me that the guy has an opportunity to shoot from the middle? Fuck. Yeah. I mean, take it. It's something that we don't normally have, like you said. We're, usually just kind of trying to jam that shit in there. But now you got some skill, you got some speed. We can
surprisingly, I feel like, especially last season, a lot of our like one-timers, all of our slap shots were from like Pulak or Pellick or Dobson. They had a lot of those, and they get that distance away from a defender or from whoever's trying to cover them. But like you said, dude, a lot of our goals are from the inside that crease, in front of the goalie, doing the body check and trying to push it in. I think Duclair's goal was like that. Yeah. And man. I mean, it's a big game tomorrow. Every game is a big game, but
every game is a big game. That's how we have to. I think that's how the
think about it, right? Yeah, every game.
The team has to look at it like that. Yeah.
But tomorrow, like it's really needed. Like something needs to change. Hopefully, like a little bit of a wake up call. Like this shit's not going to come easy. I know the names are great and all the lines are great, but if it doesn't mesh well, then you're just gonna come up empty handed. And you got to play. Like you said, you got to play the full 60. You can't show up in the third period put 15 shots on goal this period, but you're down. You still lost. I mean, not 2-3 because of the empty netter, but you didn't even capitalize on anything.
Yeah.
And then coming up with the Utah game, you gotta have your zone coverage, bro. We left Dobson on a 3-on-1.
Yeah.
You
got to have that, and you can't allow these guys to get on the bike, and start
have it in our zone for
doing circles on you, and you're like, now you're fucking drained, and then they punish you. Like, you can't have that. Yeah. Which is the one thing that we didn't do against Dallas, and I that's great, because that's a fucking big issue all season.
We didn't get as many penalties. We didn't give them as many.
We did not. So it's like we got rid of some, but we couldn't.
Then you keep up on the others. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. So you kind of they got to try to find a happy medium. It's never going to be perfect. We don't have, machines as players. So we got to have to just try to find that happy medium, and I'm sure we'll find it.
I like Gautier being a healthy, being a scratch. You like that?
Nope.
No? Nope. You want him in?
I want him in. I want Wallstrom out. Yeah.
I was thinking about that. I was thinking about that today.
You
were scratched the first game.
He didn't look bad in Utah. He just was a non-factor in Dallas. That doesn't necessarily mean you'd fucking start shaking up the lines, but like,
it's not a big shakeup.
It's not a big shakeup. It's just throw him in, because I don't know. I don't know how I don't know how he played not how he played, but how he was in training camp. But he looked good in preseason. Maybe Wallstrom was just hustling in training. I don't know. I don't know what the fuck it is with this guy. They like him. They like him for whatever reason. They like him enough to give him a year.
He has a year. So I like Gautier, man. I mean, I really thought he was gonna get the nod for both games, but I'm surprised. I think it's gonna change though. If this guy isn't producing or isn't at least being a factor in anything, I don't know how long you're gonna keep him in, man. I mean, last year he missed pretty much the whole season. That's why I was so surprised that he
Which
made
was a waste.
I didn't think they're gonna re-sign him over the summer. They did, and then I thought they were gonna put him on waivers. I really did. I'm like, he's probably gonna go on waivers and get claimed by Bridgeport. I'm surprised with Engvall. That's another one. But we talked about that, I think, our first episode for the season. Both him and Fashion have to step it up.
Yeah.
These are the two younger guys on the team. And it's, I don't know, a lot of expecting out of them. Yeah. So, but
and a guy like Engvall is gifted. I mean, he's a big individual. He's got great hands, and he's fucking quick. He can turn on those jets real fast.
That's why it kind of hurts, You just signed him too, and now he's going to be with Bridgeport. Obviously, going to be a two-way. You're going to see him, but you would expect more out of it.
No, it's not. It's
straight Bridgeport claim.
He's a one-way contract, but like when he goes down there, like he's not protected. That's why he goes on the waivers. Yeah. So, guys that have two-way contracts can go up and down no matter what. They don't go through waivers.
It was tough not seeing manager get selected. I wasn't surprised though.
Yeah, it's kind of hard.
He's like that big name that he's big. He's like our biggest name in Bridgeport.
Yeah, the competition is stiff. It's kind of hard. Like if you have Maggio in, at that point, like who goes? You know what I mean? Yeah. So unless this team, which it's not going to happen this year, but if this team at any point was like, all right, scratch it, rebuild, then you're going to see him play. But I have no doubt in my mind you'll see him fucking play.
Yeah.
But we're not at that point.
That's what I like about preseason, man. You get to watch Scar, you get to watch these guys that we only really hear about or see the reviews on the game summaries. So it was cool seeing a lot of these guys report up. Chalowski's another one.
Yeah.
Definitely excited for that.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I'm curious to see when he goes in and then who he's swapping out with, which I'm assuming is going to have to be Mayfield, right? Can't swap him out with Riley.
I don't think it's going to be Riley. It's not going to.
That's if they swap him out at all. I mean, they might not swap him in until
at some point it's going to happen
until somebody's either hurt or that's really just not.
It'd probably be for Mayfield. Riley's good. Riley's a hustler and he's fast. I think I don't know. It's trying to be a dick, but Mayfield's like he's a lower end of the totem pole for our defense, at least for our defensive pairings. So yeah,
especially after last season. Yeah, and he was for a couple of years ago. He was like a cheap stud. Like he was great. Like a lot of teams would love him. But now
he's been on the team for a minute. I think like 2016, 2015, 2016 was his first season. But Chalowski. Yeah, Chalowski, and then I'm curious, man, with Gautier. I hope He's going to be swapped. I think he's going to swap out with Wallstrom. That's my only thought really with him. Everything else kind of meshes well. He's like the only guy I really don't feel like. I don't know why he's. I don't know what lost season him. I don't really know. I mean, I guess it's only 2 games in, but after last season, it's like that bad taste in the mouth, man.
Yeah, I mean,
he didn't play it the whole season. Then he just comes back and he gets re-signed, which is kind of crazy. And then he made the team.
Listen, I hope he proves me wrong.
100%.
Pretty
100%,
confident he won't, but I hope he does.
There's moments where it's like, oh, this is legit. This guy's good, and then he just gets he's not even really streaky. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, there hasn't been a moment where in my mind I looked at him and thought he was good.
2021 playoffs, I was really like his
shining, that's what I'm saying.
Shining moment.
Nothing recent though. I mean,
no,
he's got a good shot. He's got a good shot, but I mean, what is he going to stand there and wait for the puck? No, come on. Yeah. I mean, if you can't put it on net and you do everything else right, at least you could do that and set it up for somebody else.
That's true too.
I mean, if he's going to just fucking sit there, I mean, you're not Alexander Ovechkin, and Ovechkin makes the space. People don't realize he does that. He doesn't just fucking cherry pick; he makes that space. So he's not Ovechkin. So I don't see him sitting on the faceoff dot and trying to fucking score. And I know that's what they want. They want him to fucking rifle those shots in, but I don't think it's going to fucking happen.
The only guy that really does that, honestly, is like Horvat.
That's it. And Barzell has been able to do it from time to time too. He's got a good shot when he's confident.
Consistently though, I think it's Horvat.
Yeah. And Horvat is our fucking sniper for sure.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't see it. I haven't seen it for a while.
It is what it is at this point. I mean, you can't do
I'm
anything about it.
I'm not a coach.
No,
that's fucking. No, they know better than me. So
that's why we're doing this.
Exactly. That's why we're doing this. Exactly.
You're right. But yeah, big game tomorrow, man.
Big game tomorrow.
I thought it was Tuesday, but yeah, I mean, I appreciate the reminder.
No, that's good. Listen, hockey sooner. That's all that means. It's just sooner than
just one day better, man.
One day early. It's like that's great.
No, it's definitely good. Hopefully they show up. I mean, I guess like the anticipation for the season that pretty good. Ended on a good preseason though, and now you're going to the regular season already pretty much 0-2. It definitely like puts a sour taste. Hopefully it's gonna be a tough battle. That's what sucks, especially it's Colorado. That's definitely a tough one.
It's a hard road trip that we have right now. So
the West Coast is good. Even the Sharks, man.
Yeah,
they looked all right. You see Celebrini? You see Celebrini's goal?
No.
Guys, kids are stuck, bro.
I gotta look it up.
Man.
I did see. I mean, it didn't result in a goal, but I saw Bedard's crazy pass.
I didn't.
Okay, so he was coming down. He was coming down the wing, or he was coming down the middle, and then he got pushed to the wing, and then he kind of lost his footing. Almost looked like, it could have been a penalty.
Sure.
But he's now on his stomach, and he takes his stick and he swings the puck around like between the legs of 2 defenders, and it gets to I don't know who the fuck he passed it to, but whoever he passed it to, and he puts a shot on that and hits the fucking post. It was just narrow. Like it would have been probably one of the craziest fucking assists ever.
I was watching the Chicago game,
and it didn't happen. Yeah, that's the Chicago. It's Chicago. Bedard's Chicago.
Oh, maybe I did see it then, because I was watching the Chicago game last Thursday. Dude, they had 5 shots on the post, dude.
So you're watching preseason?
No. I think it was their first game.
Oh, this past Thursday. This past
Thursday, yeah.
Sorry, I don't fucking listen to man.
No, don't worry about it, bro. Yeah, dude, they had like 5 shots in the post, bro.
Yeah.
They had a rough season last year.
Yeah, they did.
A rough season last year.
They did. I think LA is more fucked than Chicago this year.
Bruins lucked out with that signing with Swayman. That was so close.
Bruins lucked out, and they also got fucking Elias Lindholm. Lindholm has been pretty fucking sharp for them. So they definitely got to be happy about that. I know I am. He's on my fantasy team.
You know what's crazy? Shesterkin lets up 6 goals, and he asked for like a 660 million $60
You see what Swayman got? Yeah, I know.
I was gonna text you that. I was like, dude, this guy just let up like 10 goals and 2. I don't know. I mean, listen, he's a fuck. He's a savage. He's really good, but
Shesterkin's great.
Yeah. Can't shit on that too.
I still think when both healthy, Sorokin is the better Russian, but
obviously Sorokin's a G, man. Hopefully when he comes back, if and when it's tomorrow or whenever, whatever game he does come back, it's just he's at 100%, not that rush feeling. Yeah, it's a long season. It's only 2 games in. There's no need to panic yet, but like
No,
Just give the
definitely
guy,
not.
give the
Definitely
guy some. Make sure he's good to go, not just like, hey, we need you, you got to go. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly, exactly. I'm hoping the exact same thing. With him, like you said, Barzal being on the revenge tour, I love to see Sorokin on a revenge tour too. Not even a revenge,
I hope
redemption
so,
tour.
man.
To him, that's going to be redemption because in his mind,
Doubters. No,
it's him versus him. I guarantee you, that guy's in his fucking head all the time. He seems like
I
that
agree with
dude.
that.
He seems like that dude. So
He's good, bro. He's really good. I'm excited. I think everybody's gonna be excited.
yeah.
You know, him leading out the tunnel. I think so. I think he will.
Yeah, that would be fun. I mean, it's gonna give me chills to see him go back on there and lead at the start of the game. It's gonna give me some
A
chills.
healthy Sorokin, man, is very dangerous.
A healthy, ready Sorokin. Oh yeah, everyone's
Very
fucked.
dangerous, man. We wouldn't have in both our playoff runs in 20 and 21. It wouldn't have not happened without him. Would
Yeah,
have not happened without him.
yeah,
You know, he kept us alive, but he can only do so much. We got, like we said, we got to fix our zone possession. We got to fix our checking and a lot. You know, our turnovers. And like you
turnovers.
said,
Yeah,
the Dallas was the one thing I did like about Dallas is that we didn't have nearly as many penalties. You know,
not nearly as many penalties, and we didn't let them have too much time and space in our zone. They were able to capitalize on some off chance rushes and stuff like that, but they were all
it was
based
only
off turnovers.
it was an
But
empty net. It was only
yeah, yeah. So I mean, it wasn't anything crazy, but it wasn't the constant possession like Utah had for
It was tough.
sustained
We were
periods
talking
of
to each
time.
other about it at the game, man. It was definitely tough to watch because you know it's gonna happen. It's just a matter of when.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
So,
Well, we got a new game, and
yeah,
we'll see what happens.
yeah.
You've got to be optimistic. It's very early in the season, ladies and gentlemen. Do not count this team out. We are not at that point, nearly at that point yet. So, yeah.
That's it, man.
All
Till
right.
next time.
Till next time, ladies and gentlemen, that was an episode of Sunny Days at the Racetrack. I hope you enjoyed because, listen, I always enjoy this. I know you do. I enjoy seeing your face. I really enjoy, which we haven't talked about in a while, is the mustache.
Oh, yeah,
The
it's
mustache
back,
is fucking back. It's fucking back.
back kid.
Oh, it's risen. You know what I mean? That's how I feel.
100%.
It's back. I've been missing this fucking thing. Seeing that baby face been fucking awful. I wanted to cry every time I saw you. I'm like, what the fuck? Ah, shit. All right. Well, I hope next time we speak, that thing is
on better terms. Oh yeah, that's too.
Yeah, but better terms for the. Listen, I'm so fixated on the mustache right now. But no, I hope we're talking about some positive wins, some good experiences with the team. I'm hoping for that. All right, everybody, enjoy your evening. I'm not going to ramble anymore. Let's go Belmont boys. Let's go Isles, and we will talk to you again soon.
Oh yeah.